Howdy, howdy, and welcome to My Bloody Judy with your final forgets, myself, Zachary Patton Garcia.
And Ian Carlos Crawford.
The news of the day just dropped out of the sky, hit me right over the head. We have another episode planned for today, so we'll talk about that later, okay? Gaze at the Cabin, or whatever that movie's called. We'll talk about it. Listen, I was not expecting it. I was just doom scrolling through Twitter, reading bad take after bad take after bad take, and came across, I think my page just refreshed or something, and I Know What You Did Last Summer with Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. in talks to return for a legacy sequel, is what I'm assuming. They didn't specifically say that, but like, why else are you bringing them back? I shit myself. Right. I screamed. I sent it to Alistair. I sent it to everybody I could. I literally sent it to you. You didn't answer fast enough. Apparently you were busy. I just yeah. I don't know. It's big news.
Yeah, I appreciate that Zach sent it to me, and then I was like, oh, it's because I didn't reply. Then sent it to the group chat. Don't worry.
Absolutely. It was the most unexpected thing I could have seen today. I truly would have never expected them to announce a sequel based off those movies.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool. I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm I don't emotionally care about the survivors.
Really? What? I thought you were going to share my excitement. You are I need a different host for this one. I should have brought in a guest. I need somebody to be on my level of excitement here. Okay, I need Brandy back. I need to get Brandy back. I'm super excited for they have to, right? It's not. They have to. I bet it'll happen.
I hope so.
I think so. Yeah, I think Sarah Michelle's the harder get. But they should still try to do that.
I mean, but it's not even like she's a hard. I feel like she would do it because Freddie Prinze is doing it, but
yeah, who cares? Just do it. Just go for it, right? This is a ridiculous franchise anyway. It makes no sense at all. Who is Ben Willis? So go for it, Ignore the rules.
Sometimes I think about that and I'm like, I had it for a second after we watched the second one, but I don't remember anymore.
I don't remember it. It's like a reset time every single time we watch it, and it is simple enough to get it, to be real. But it's just, I don't know. It was a really unexpected piece of news today. It really brightened my entire day. I got really excited over it. And because usually, I've noticed since doing the horror podcast and having the Twitter that the things aren't really surprise anymore. Somebody will get, there's talks of something happening and there's going to be an announcement Thursday. They always tell us when the announcement's about to happen. Right. And this one just fucking dropped. So it was real exciting. And we'll have to see how that turns out.
I am excited. It's just I don't know. For me, Helen was the best character, and
Julie was great. I will give Jennifer Love Hewitt her flowers. She can carry a franchise. She can still carry this third movie. We need a third movie to round out a trilogy because we technically had I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer.
There was a bunch. There's a couple.
I still think they should use that name. Honestly, that one they should just. It was direct to DVD. Nobody really remembers it. Hardly anybody saw it. They should just take that name and round out the trilogy. So yeah, that's happening. That's really exciting. But we are here to talk about what.
Didn't in one of those it get Supernatural in one of the later?
Yeah. Well, that was the last one. There was only one other sequel.
Oh, I thought there was a couple.
No. I remember I sold my Robo Sapien to get the box set trilogy of them, and I think it came out at the same time that the Scream trilogy came out. So I had both of them, and I would sit them on my desk together. It was real nice looking. Yeah, there was only one other direct to DVD sequel, and it briefly mentioned in a newspaper article that Ray and Julie were dead. That they had been hacked up. So it's very easy to just get rid of that one.
Right, yeah.
But yes, without further ado, we are here to talk about A Gaze at the Cabin, Knock at the Cabin, Knocking on the Doors, whatever this movie's called. I've had the hardest time remembering the damn one. Alistair's walking around calling it Cabin in the Woods. I know that's not right.
Knock at the Cabin. Do we want me to start, or do we want to end with I made Kirsten White tell me everything that happens in the book?
Oh, it is a book, isn't it? I had to scroll up. I was looking at it because I couldn't remember if it was a book. So the book is called The Cabin at the End of the World. That's a better title.
Which I think is a better title.
I would have remembered that.
It's a way better title. And it still would have made sense for the movie, right?
Go ahead and tell me, yeah.
So, and because I feel like this is important for my opinion too, and might be for yours. So in the book, it is ambiguous the entire time, and the book ends with it being ambiguous.
Fucking,
and I think that's
yes. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm surprised to hear you say that because you don't like a shit. You don't like an ambiguous.
I don't like a open-ended, but I don't mind an ambiguous what's going on as long as it's ended. And the way the book it happens is, and I fully understand why they wouldn't want to do this for a movie. Like apparently M. Night Shyamalan loved the book but didn't want to do this end. And I do get this, that apparently when one of the husbands is wrestling with one of the guys, the little girl gets her head blown off. Like they accidentally shoot her and she dies. And it doesn't count because they said, as they do say in the movie, it has to be you're sacrificing yourself, not oops, they were killed. And so they're like, that still doesn't count. And the gay couple, like, I think she said, like, kills them all. And then they just leave. And they're like, we don't care. We're going to leave. And I just think that's a better ending. That's
what I like about books, is that they'll really go balls to the wall with it. Like, they don't really give a fuck. They'll write the most fucked up shit. I like that better. I like the idea of ambiguity a lot better. And I had that conversation, like that was our first conversation when I went and saw it at the Alistair and we left the theater. We were talking about it. I was like, I just think that it should have been like no specific answer whether it worked or not, you know. And he's like full on like, oh, I love that they explained it. I love that we knew that it worked. I just don't think it worked like that. I think it I don't know. It was like because then it gave voice and reason to something, and you know, then there's more questions and more lead, and like it was too much. It made it more tangled at the end, like more of a tangled mess. I feel like then I don't fucking know. I don't even know how to explain it. Yeah.
Well, because the other thing, and Kirsten mentioned this without me even telling her, she was like, "Oh, in the book, one of the husbands thinks one of the guys in the cult group is a guy that hate crimed them, but you never figure out if it was." And that's like what is driving the husband.
They like gave all the answers then here, you know?
Yeah. And I because yeah, normally I want like some answers, but like I don't mind if this makes sense to my brain, like that's still more like of a story. Like there's still a story there. Like I don't like if there's not a story and it's open, but like that tracks for like a week, because the moment they got to the house, I was like, I'm going to be annoyed because they're going to be right. Yeah. And I don't want these people to be right, because I also wouldn't believe these fucking people. You know what I mean?
Like, see, I did think it was going to be more ambiguous at the end. I was actually really surprised that they went with a specific answer. I was thinking M. Night Shyamalan, would he leave it ambiguous or leave it with an answer? And I think he would leave it with an answer. I mean, clearly he did, you know? So it just, I don't know. What did you think of the movie overall, though?
I didn't hate it. I didn't love it, but I thought it was like, I think it's a credit to the actors that it still was like pretty tense. Mm-hmm. Like it kind of plateaus though, right? Like for me, it was very tense. Like the first half hour, I appreciated that. Like that first scene is the little girl in the woods, and you know, Drax comes out and is like, "Hey!"
It was real. It happened real fast. I was like, I thought they were going to get them setting up in the cabin, being a happy little family, you know, making eggs.
I almost think it would have benefited. I do like a start right away, but I almost think it could have benefited from like a little padding.
Complete disagree. I think it was like crazy the way it started, and it would like just went straight into it. And the first time we see them, the dads, is when she's running through the house and runs into the backyard and says, "Hey, there's like people here. We need to get inside the house." I get that already had me on edge, and I think that was the perfect way to sort of start. I did really like it. I don't know if this is going to be like a rewatch for me. But I absolutely love. So Jonathan Groff is great, obviously. Love Batista. We always love a Batista. But Ben Aldridge. So I just saw him in Spoiler Alert, and I'm in love with him. I think he is such a great actor. I really want him in more shit. I think he's like really, really good. And they just really made it.
The movie you told me that I should watch, right?
I think you should. Yeah, I think it was really good. It has the guy from Big Bang Theory who plays Sheldon. Yeah. It was just, I don't know. I think the performances are what really made it, because we are kind of like being stuck in one location works for a lot of things, but you have to do it really well. And I don't know if this was done well enough to be stuck in one location the entire time. But the performances carried it. Yes. And so it made up for us kind of just sitting there, because they were sitting for a long time, you know?
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I do think the first half hour was super tense, and then it kind of plateaus with, all right.
Yeah.
Either kill everyone or don't. I don't know. Like, because like you said, it's a lot of sitting. I think the biggest detriment to the movie was how stupid the news reports looked. Yeah. Like they looked fake, and I don't understand why they looked fake.
I kept thinking that was going to be a twist, is that it was going to be some sort of like airplay, or like I wonder why nobody was questioning any of that, you know, like pre-recorded
because like the husband even says that. He's like, that
I could
happened
make
hours
that.
ago. Yeah, like
I could do that.
once the husband said that, that's when it like threw me, and I was like, oh, maybe, but then that didn't matter. And like
Yeah.
that should have mattered, I felt like, because if the husband was right about that, I don't understand. Like,
I liked all that. So I really liked that we had one who was kind of more susceptible to religious thought and belief. And that was just already there before these people even showed up. And so when all of this stuff is going on and he's seeing these news reports, he is believing it a little bit more. And the other one is like, hey, explanation. Let me like bring you back into reality a little bit. I thought that push and pull was the best part of the movie. And really like them not, I wish they would have gone heavier with that than with there being any specific answer at the end or any specific, even the stuff with the intruders, you know, like we got a lot about their visions and stuff like that, and that was all good and great, but I feel like they could have even piled on heavier with my husband slipping away from me. He's seeing like, you know, visions or, you know, something in the light, like let me convince him that that's not true. I feel like that could have been a lot stronger, and it was like, it just wasn't there enough for me.
yeah, I don't. So the thing, like, again, the news reports, them looking stupid, and also like the way they were done was like, for me, that was like, that was what I didn't like the most about the movie, because it felt like it was too much. Like it felt weirdly rushed for a movie. Like I was like, wait, how long was that movie? It was long enough. They like, but it felt like, I don't know, like the one husband is like, that happened hours ago, and it's like, but why didn't we see them? See, like, I don't know. It was like the cultists didn't get their point. Like they didn't go about it in a good way. Like it felt like when he's reciting the lines from that news reporter, I was like, man, this would have been a lot cooler if that's what they opened with. And it would have made sense if they opened with this.
And it would have been more convincing, right? If they really do have to convince them. I feel like there were much better ways to do it. This is so usually I'm like, well, movies need to be shorter, right? How long is this movie?
I think it's like an hour.
100 minutes.
40?
I do think it would have benefited from slightly more time because we're supposed to be there over what, 2 days? 1 day, like a day and a half. Is it?
I think it's just 1 day. Yeah.
Yeah, one day and a half. We should have had more time them sitting around and like trying to figure out what to do and like having more conversation, because we like briefly got like, you know, somebody coming in and saying, I told her I'm gonna run to the car. I told this person, but like we're not seeing any of that, right? We're not seeing them plotting and planning on what to do and how to get out of this. And we should have seen a lot more of that. We also should have seen a lot more of the cultists sort of just there and kind of being there, because we got the moment with the one girl who makes food and win, and that was really good. But we should have had a moment like that with all of them, basically.
I agree. Yeah, because the only one that I was remotely ready to believe was the nurse.
Oh,
she was
I loved
the
her.
only.
I was like really wanting her to survive too.
She was the only one that I was like, okay, she's selling this better than like, and I don't mean acting wise, I just mean character wise. Like she didn't feel insane, right? Like.
And the idea, continue.
I just felt like we needed a little bit more of like, because the single mom, she felt crazy. The David Bautista looked crazy. Rupert Grint looked crazy. Like I felt like I needed them to be able to sell their like, I get it because they're all having mass visions or delusions or whatever the fuck. So they're gonna be a little unhinged, but I needed them to be able to sell this a little better.
Yeah.
Because like for me, I knew it was gonna be that it was real because they seemed so at a 10 immediately and not be doing a good job of being like, no, the apocalypse is coming, that I was like, they're going to have to be right, because writing wise, this would be stupid if they weren't. And then they were. And I don't know. I needed a little bit more of like I mean, I do think Dave Bautista is good in it, but I don't think he was the right choice for the like calm school teacher that is attacking.
Well, he was a coach. He's a coach. I could buy him as a coach.
I guess. He just looks like a big muscly thumb. Like, I'm like, I don't know.
Don't call him a thumb. He wants to be in a romantic comedy. You can't be putting that rhetoric out there if we're going to get him cast.
Good for him. Right. He could do. I think he's a great guy. He seems very nice. He seems very cool. But like the look of a man like that, I would not believe a man that looks like that if he's like, I'm coming here to kill your family, but you got to pick who's going to die, because I don't actually want to kill you. But like, I wouldn't believe a man who looked like that. You know what I mean?
I don't know if I would either, but I also I don't think he was miscast. I think he did like a really great job with his role, and I think he did fit into it pretty well. I think, It's just like the ending really doesn't ruin it for the whole thing, right? Because like again, there were really good ideas brought up with when who was it? Andrew, Daddy Andrew, the one we like. Yeah, Daddy Andrew. So when Daddy Andrew's like talking about it and like, hey, you guys are in like basically this echo chamber and you were on like this forum and you were talking to each other and like you were riling each other up. So did you really see these things or were you riling each other up? That was such an interesting idea, right?
Yeah.
That could have been better, like given us more to think about had it not been explained at the end. And then when you weave in the questions with Redman, poor Rupert Grint. I thought he was going to do a real good job too, and they just like killed him off pretty quick. Like give him a little more.
I saw someone be like, "Oh my god, performance was great," and I was like, "He was in it for like 10 minutes."
But I think his 10 minutes were pretty good, right?
Yeah,
like,
he's
towards
good,
the end of the 10 minutes, he starts to get a little bit too like, yeah. But like his subtle parts where he was a little bit like testy and a little bit like just kind of on edge. I thought that really worked, and they should have kept him in a tiny bit longer.
I also think the way they, like another thing that would have never made me buy that they were telling the truth was like, okay, why are you having to kill? You know what I mean? Like I didn't, when they were just like, well, now we have to kill Rupert Grint, and it's like, but why?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Exactly. Explain everything to me. This is what they should have done, right? Because like he was just Dave Bautista did such a great job of like explaining to the little girl to make her feel safe, right? There's certain things that they're doing,
Right,
like
yeah.
I'll catch the grasshopper, I'll put on cart 2, but like explain your plan to the adults now, right? Like don't, instead of like keep your eyes on me, okay, well tell me what's happening here. Like I have to kill this person because every time you say no, we have to kill one of us. By the end, like explain the whole plan out, okay? Because they did say the only bit of like real explanation that we got was you guys are, the whole world will go down and you guys will walk the earth by yourselves, That's like it, but step by step. You guys had enough time to, I guess, maybe they didn't, but like write out a plan,
I feels like they had enough time to get these weapons. They had enough time to like meet and get there. They sat with them for a really long time. They should have explained it better. I don't like, again, if he had opened with, look, I'm going to turn on the live news and I'm going to be able to say every word of the live news.
Yeah.
That's a way better way to convince me that like, the future than just being like, because I do, and like then killing your friend in front of
what would have also been like a really good opening, because I don't think we needed an opening of the setup with the family. We didn't need them arriving at the cabin and doing things, like we didn't need that. A really good opening would have been seeing the nurse get in her car, drive across the country, drive across states, like seeing all of these things, and she's seeing these things and remembering, but we only see it on her face. We don't like see flashbacks or anything or what she sees, but we see like the kind of panic that's going over her face, and then she approaches the boardwalk and sees these people, and then it kind of cuts to the cabin. I think that would have been like really good also. I just think we didn't get enough of the cultists, because we did get like flashbacks with the couple, and
I did like those.
It was okay. It was fun, but like, did we?
No way.
I don't know. I think this when
like,
they went to adopt her, that one got me. That one really got me. But the other ones, I was like, okay.
When they went to what?
Adopt when? They didn't have her, Ian. They're two men. They didn't birth her. They had to go adopt her.
No, but I don't remember seeing them
Did you
go
not?
to an adoption.
They went to like a, I was guessing that it's an adoption. They would see there's a bunch of babies. They picked her up. Okay.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought you meant like when they're literally getting the baby.
Ian was getting a blowjob at that point, okay? He was close to finishing. He wasn't paying attention.
I was thinking you meant like we saw them meet with like the agency people and
no.
That. I remember them having a baby, yeah.
Yeah.
But like that's the little girl was very good. She reminded me of Kim's daughter, so she made me more emotional because she was like very cute and verbose. And that's how Kim's daughter is. So I was like, when they were singing in the car, it made me cry.
Yeah.
Like I was like,
oh, yeah, that was good. I liked all the family stuff. You know what I really liked is that they had, like, obviously, especially Andrew had ideas that these people were there to cause harm to them because they were a gay couple in this gay family. And that makes a lot of sense because that's what a lot of us go through. But I like that this was just, I wonder if in the book, is it a gay couple? Did Kirsten say that? Okay. I like that it just felt like a gay couple, just like in the movie, the plot is they just happened to be a gay couple that were there. I really liked that.
That's what I was looking forward to the most. And I felt like it wasn't enough of that. Like I felt like adding in the hate crime guy kind of like made it like.
Was it in the book?
Like,
Do you know if the hate crime was in the book?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was. So then, yeah. So,
yeah.
I mean, it was just book stuff, I guess. I don't
But
know.
see, like, but in the book, the fact that they don't know if it was the hate crime guy, for me, that like is better, because then it's like you have this like craziness in your head where like I understand that would make sense.
And they kind of did
like
they had to release so the flashback scene of that. I'll take this back. So maybe I did like the flashback scenes because that really worked when that we didn't really see a face or anything. But then they like start checking IDs and shit, and it's like, oh man, like you're ruining it, you know?
Like it's better for the paranoia horror of it all to not know, because then like you can be second guessing, being like, fuck, did I kill that nurse? And they actually, like, you know what I mean? Like,
it was, when did they start believing it? Was it when the planes were going down? I thought that shit was ridiculous. I thought that was so stupid. It's like 100 planes are falling all around us. I'm like,
it was too much. It was too much, right? Like,
it would have been just the subtlety of it, dialing it back, making it a slightly longer movie, taking it really seriously, and making it, I don't know, like a couple plane crashes happened that are more questionable than planes falling down all around us, you know, and there's more doubt there, would have been really, really good, you know, and it would have had me, I need to stir in my seat. I need my mind to be like coming up with all of my own theories, right? If you tell me everything that happens, there's nothing for me to play with, and I think I leave the theater a little bit like, okay, well, that was good, you know, moving on.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I mean about it felt rushed, is like, the apocalypse stuff was like too much. It was, there was, we turn on the TV and there's been 25 more disasters and 80,000 more people. And it just felt like, let's dial that back a little bit. Like, it's almost like, I know you're not the biggest fan, but like in superhero stuff, like the reason I love WandaVision is that is like, it's not that the world's going to end if they don't stop her from whatever. It's just like, this is a bad thing. We don't need it to be Thanos is coming to destroy the world. You know what I mean? Like, a story like that doesn't have to be world-ending. Mm-hmm. It can be like
contained. Like if we're going to contain the entire movie in the cabin, then the rest of it needs to be contained too. We don't need to see the entire outside world. And if we're going to see flashes on the news, they need to be things that are able to be explained away, right? Like 100 planes falling out of the sky. I'd be like, kill me right now. Like, let's do this. We'll do it real quick, okay?
Yeah, like, and I knew, the thing is, I knew Jonathan Groff was going to be the one to die, because I was like,
which was stupid. That, like, if he was the believer, right? Wouldn't the believer be the one to live? Because I don't know. I feel like he could have handled her, the daughter, a lot better. And this, what just happened to them, then Andrew would have been able to. Andrew's going to be questioning himself for the rest of his life, you know? And like whether that was real or not. I don't think he was the perfect one to live.
No way. It made more sense, because he wouldn't have willingly done it, because he refused to believe, right? And so Jonathan Groff had to be the one to die, because he was more the softer one, and he was the more one that, because I was thinking this, I was like, even if this were like my friends, I would be like, all right, fine, kill me. Like, because in my brain, I wouldn't be able to live with, oh shit, I didn't die, and now we're all going into this like terrible apocalypse because I wouldn't let someone kill me. So like, you know, if I was just like, if it's like me, you, and Alistair, you're going to be like, yeah, I'll kill you, Ian. But I would be like, just kill me, because I would feel bad. And like, I wouldn't be able to move forward being like, oh, I didn't offer to die, and now the world is going to end and we're all going to die anyway. Like, that would very much upset me. So I knew it had to be him, because I was like, this is more the me. I mean, granted, I'm also mouthy, but like, I kept thinking of that. And I was like, so it's going to be him, because he keeps having these like doubts.
And I think when they got to the point where one of them did have to die, I didn't feel as like, I feel like I should have felt urgent about it, and I didn't. I felt like, well, I kind of know it's going to happen, but I'm not feeling like, okay, we have minutes, because they said that when Dave Bautista said, you'll have minutes after I die. I should have felt rushed.
Right. Yeah, that's true. I didn't feel, until he was like, we don't have time. I was like, oh, right. Yeah, they don't have time.
I did question whether it like worked or not. I was like, a minute, a second too late.
When there was like still the lightning going on, I was like, wait a minute.
There was like fire falling all over the house, but I was like, I just had so many questions. But you know, okay, so before all my questions that I had for it, I was really glad, because the entire movie I was thinking, are they going to consider killing the daughter, or is the daughter going to accidentally die? I don't want to see anything like that. And I'm really happy that they didn't like ever have a moment where they were like, well, the daughter's going to die, right? Because then I didn't want that to be the emotional manipulation that they used for this movie. And I was really happy that they didn't do that. But also, so my questions. He looks guilty as fuck. He looked like he just killed everybody in that cabin. Like, you can tell them that they all showed up from, across the country to go to the house and stuff like that. But, you left the crime scene. You drove to a diner, went in the diner, sat down, tons of witnesses. Then you got up from the diner, went and got back in the car, and you started driving off again. Like, too much here. And are we on the run? Or, like, what's happening now? What next?
Well, so to make it worse, in the book, they explicitly say her jaw gets blown off. Like when the gun hits the little girl, it's like blows off her jaw.
See, they said cleft lip is enough in this movie. And I was like, thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Wonderful.
Which, like, yeah, I absolutely did not want to see that adorable little girl.
Absolutely. I think it would have made me angry, like, and not in a good way.
Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like, okay, but a thing I do want to say is there's been a lot of like bad hot takes about this movie. Have you seen?
Oh, really? I'm not reading any of them. I don't care. What
I mean, some people.
I
saw. So I feel like all of them have been bad. I talked about it a little bit the last 2 days, like people I recorded with, and we talked about it at work in our meeting. Some people feel like it came off like a gay person has to die. Like, is the
agree
movie?
With that.
And I don't agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Someone said they felt like it was nice because a gay person saved the world. I also don't know that I feel that way either.
I don't feel that way either. I feel like it was just, what felt nice about it to me was that it could have easily been a straight couple in that role, but it was a gay couple, and I'm happy we got the gay couple, because that gives me something. And at some point, we do just have to start putting the gay couples in all of the roles that have to do with everything, like we don't need a million AIDS storylines, but sometimes there are tragedy storylines like this that are, kind of fantastical, and I'm okay with that,
Yeah.
I figured there was going to be like commentary about that, people like with the bury your gays, and I still am not entirely clear on where, like, when something falls into bury your gays either, so I try not to use that. Do you want me to explain it to you? Do you want me to explain it to you? You can. I know you have before. It just won't stick with me, but do it for the audience.
So it's basically like killing a gay person to killing a gay character to progress a non-gay character's plot. Okay. Or like character development. And I guess it's more when there aren't it's more like it's a problem when there aren't other gay characters.
Yeah.
So like when we discussed for Unslayer Fest, when we got to Seeing Red, we discussed that because I said I didn't feel like it was Bury Your Gays because it progressed Willow's storyline.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with what everyone said. Everyone told me why I was wrong. Dana and Summer Bishel and Kim and Joanna Robinson were all on for that episode. I was very proud of that episode. And they all were like, well, actually it progresses the like story, like the show, and doesn't really progress Willow. It makes her become evil and then she has to go back. But like she was already progressing without that happening. And it more progressed Xander because it got him to have a like hero at the end. Okay. And he had just left Ani at the altar. And so everyone was feeling bitter about him. And it gave him his hero moment. So I do understand where like that does fall into that because it does, right? It does give Xander his hero moment. And like, you can't really pretend it doesn't because he does get a nice hero moment. But like, when you think about it, it's like, oh, did we have to kill Tara for Xander to get a nice moment? And so like shit like that, I do understand. And I do like, I had this argument. I think I've even brought this up on the podcast before. I had this argument about it at my job once where one of my managers was like, why can't gays die in a horror movie? And I was like, no, they can.
Yeah.
But if we're opening on gays being hate crimed and murdered and the clown eats one of them and there aren't other gay characters, for me, that's when it's a problem. Like, I don't want like, it would have been less of a problem if they weren't fucking hate crimed. And it's like, it's not like, oh, they fought for themselves and whatever, and then the clown ate them. It's like, no, one of them is thrown off a bridge and the clown eats him.
There wasn't really a point to the hate crime part, right?
Yeah.
It could have easily as just as easily been, I don't know, he fucking falls over the bridge or something, right. Just something, and ends up in the clown's mouth, right?
Right, and that for me, that's less. Yeah. It feels like more humiliating to be like, oh, you got hate crime.
I definitely understand like gay humiliation in film and TV. I definitely can spot that. Yeah, I think the just spare your gaze thing is like like it's like way over my head sometimes. But I didn't buy that from this. I thought this was really good. Again, I just think that this movie where it lacks is the storytelling, and where it's really strong is the performances. Because I thought everybody was so good in this. I don't think there was like really a bad character in this. There was just some people who were kind of outshone by somebody else, which is I felt really bad because Jonathan Groff was clearly like being upstaged by Aldridge. And I really like Jonathan Groff too. Like I like him a lot.
Yeah,
but he was
I expected him to be like the shining performance too, because he's like, a like well-seasoned actor. But yeah, I did. Yeah. It's not that he was bad. It's just the other guy was like definitely the
really good. He was really good. He had a lot of really good moments. And spoiler alert, he's like the best part of that movie too. So, and it's not just because he's very attractive and he's very, very cute, but I think he's got like a real acting ability that is kind of malleable to a bunch of different things, and I really am excited to see what I'm gonna look his Wikipedia up real quick.
A weird thing about him is before I saw the movie, a friend of mine had DM'd me and been like, "Oh, have you seen Knocked at the Cabin? I just got out of it." And I was like, "Oh, actually, I'm seeing it tonight." And he was like, "Okay, I don't want to spoil it for you, but there is an actor in the movie who I thought that person must be British because of the way their mouth moves."
Is he? Don't even tell me. Is he fucking British?
Yeah.
Son of a bit.
Wait, what?
I thought he was a good old American boy. America.
But if you look at his mouth, he does. It's like,
I'm going to be paying attention to that forever now.
Exactly. And it was only because this friend mentioned it to me. And they were like, but this friend's an actor. So of course they would notice that more than like you or I would.
Yeah.
It's like, it makes sense that an actor would notice like a specific, but like, I would have never noticed that prior, but that was all like, when he would yell, he would be like his mouth would move.
One thing that he didn't do, though, that a lot of English actors do going into an American accent is like
slip in and out of it.
R, or like very like rounded letters. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Sure, yeah.
Like R's are like very like R, I don't know. That's something I noticed, but like the mouth thing, I've never really noticed that. That's interesting.
A supercut of Zach going R. Please.
I can usually tell when they're Australian, though. Like I think I'm good at spotting that one, but British, I'm not so much.
Well, and also because I noticed that, and because we both love Buffy, and Buffy does this a lot, it was very obvious at certain points that he had to re-record his lines, and it was like the ADR. Yeah. Like they added it in because there's a scene when they're both when he's in his chair. And he turns and he looks at the nurse and Jonathan Groff coming out of the bathroom, and his body's moving and he's not talking. And then later he's talking, and I was like, oh, he was saying those lines earlier.
Probably.
But sometimes the ADR was like a little bit off with him. Mm. And I was wondering if like maybe it flubbed him up because he did a lot of fast talking. Like I felt like he talked sometimes the way I talk.
I could see that.
You know what I mean? I'm like, that's understandable if you're actually not American and doing an American accent while talking fast, that like maybe it like came out sometimes and you had to re-record. But I feel like that's something Buffy has made me notice all
I
the
might
time,
go back and watch it again because now I want to see.
But like, you know what I'm talking about? How Buffy, there was lots of times when you could tell like, oh, they recorded that later.
He doesn't have any movies like scheduled or lined up on Wikipedia, so hope he starts getting stuff because it made its money back over the weekend. Dethroned Avatar.
So we got to call him to be in our movie.
yes, let's do it. Honestly.
And then he has to kiss both of us. He's the My Bloody Judy boyfriend.
Me first. We need
you are my husband.
His name is Judy. It's an acting. Okay, he plays Alistair. Yeah, I don't know.
Alistair plays my husband, John.
I'd say 3 out of 5 knives.
I was gonna say 2.5 out of 5.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
I feel like even though we didn't fully agree, I feel like we mostly agreed on this movie. Like it wasn't bad. It wasn't the best.
I'll always go see a gay project. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be bros. It could be this.
Zach and I are very pro. On this podcast, we're pro gay. We
just need to give them money. That's the thing. Is like you don't always have to support the gay content. We're not a monolith. You don't always have to go out and support stuff. But I very much want more, and we've been getting a lot of it. And we've been getting more of it, and I really enjoy that. Right? Like I enjoy getting an M. Night Shyamalan like thriller-ish movie with a gay couple in the lead roles. I really like that. So
I will.
Like
to the movie's credit, I will say I was like, oh, I think I want to go back and watch Old and The Visit. Like Didn't someone tell us that recently and we should watch that?
I love The Visit. That is one of my favorite movies by him. You've never seen it, have you? That's what we need to watch is The Visit. That movie had me cackling. I didn't expect it to be funny. I thought it was going to be a straight up horror movie, and it is so funny.
But is it like on purpose funny?
Yes. Yes. I think it's absolutely on purpose funny. You'll see. We'll do that. Yeah.
Because Old is also based on a book, which I learned from work, from our meeting.
Old was again fine. I think with him, with M. Night, I just he's fine. His stuff is fine. You know, he has his bangers every now and then, like Split and Sixth Sense and, you know, things like that, but it's fine. Lady in the Water was really good. I was happy with them.
Wait.
I
was about to say.
Yeah.
Oh, we have. Yeah, because I was about to say, I love Lady in the Water, and everyone fucking hates that movie, but I love that movie.
It's one of those guilty pleasure movies, because, I could see why people
I understand, I do understand why people don't like it. It's not like I'm like, everyone should love that. It's like, I get it. I know why you don't like it, but it reminds me of, a book or a short story I would have fucking loved as a teenager.
Yeah.
And I love a full circle moment. I love a moment when we're, giving all these, plot points and they all come together, and every single plot point came together at the end of that movie, even if the giant bird was stupid, it was stupid, but everything came together, every single piece came together to make it work. And for me, that's what I always want out of an ending, is everything coming together, and we got that.
Sometimes things are just fun too, and stupid fun, and I do enjoy a stupid fun. Anyway, what did you guys think of Gaze at the Cabin knocking on the door? What do you rate it? What's your favorite scene? What's your favorite moment? And let us know, and let us know what you think about I Know What You Did Last Summer, because clearly Ian's not that excited about it, so I need somebody else. I need a buddy, okay? I need a buddy to go see this movie in the theater with me. I don't know. Let us know. We will see you next time.
Bye.